Alright, look, we're late to the punch on this one. This was a Necromunda reveal. We are well behind schedule because there's been so much stuff to talk about because of that preview last week. But we are finally going to have a look at the Nara and Cadaver Merchant. Which, I mean, Cadaver Merchant, I'm assuming that they do exactly what it sounds like they do. The Nara... Let's have a look, shall we? While the housegoings are the primary movers and shakers on Necromunda, there is a complex network of intermediaries, flunkies, and hangers-on who keep things lubricated, after all without underhive traders. Who is going to keep goods and weapons flowing, discount the fixture and proxy, and gangs can no longer communicate with uphivers. Likewise, those who need hot gossip or a cold corpse call on the Nara and Cadaver Merchant. I mean, yeah, really, with one of those, you knew exactly what it was going in, didn't you? You knew from the jump what was happening with one of them. Let's see what they do before we look at them. These hangers-on don't just add to the texture of Necromunda by their appearance, they also provide unique services for a price. The Nara is a professional information gatherer, which means they spend a lot of time getting people drunk in bars. For just 30 credits, they can modify the determined scenario step of the pre-battle sequence by 1, but be aware that opposing Naras cancel each other out. That almost feels like it should become a saying. Now, well, you got to remember, opposing Naras, they cancel each other out, and presumably clear out liquor stocks in the process. And the Cadaver Merchant has a much simpler job. Should a ganger die, the body can be sold for D3 times 10 credits. Okay, that's really funny. I like that a lot. What does the Cadaver Merchant do with these bodies? We don't really know, but he has connections. And just by having one, a gang can gain an additional portion of meat in the post-battle sequence of an uprising campaign. Nice! Also, this last paragraph really highlights my main issue with getting into Necromunda. They come with rules in the box, but you can also find the rules for the Nara in the Book of Judgment and the Cadaver Merchant in the Book of Ruin supplements. That's two models, 2 different supplements. How many supplements are there? I don't know. Are they available for sale right now? Maybe, but not always. I feel like... Anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. Let's look at the actual lads here. Now, firstly, the Cadaver Merchant is fantastic, but I really like the posing on the Nara. I really like the posing. Like, she looks so sneaky, but overtly sneaky. This is the kind of description that one would give, like a hooded figure in the corner of the bar is whispering into one of the patrons' ears. It is literally like someone who sells information, the template, which is not a bad thing. Genuinely, I don't think it's a bad thing. Very, very clear and concise what that model does. Like, as soon as you read the description of it, it's like, oh yeah, of course, what else would they do? They are literally sharing information right now. They are doing stuff by talking to people. The whole whispering behind the hand, the hooded, not cloak, but, you know, the big hood there covering the top half of the face. You've just got to respect the outright, this is how people who sell information look in seedy taverns and bars. Absolutely picture perfect of every DM who sat down to do a session where there's some sort of spy scenario. This person has been present in the description. No obvious weapons, but I'm assuming there's probably going to be one on there just because it's Necromunda, and everyone has got to be carrying at least one, right? I like the little techno shoulder pad there, that's quite fun. For what is essentially just a person who whispers into ears, there's actually a fun amount of like different textures and materials on this. You got some nice cloth with the hood and the top, and then you've got a bit of like leather and metal with the boots and stuff. The rope looks really nice around the waist. Yeah, that's actually, I really like that. I really like it. Just a normal person. There's nothing freaky or weird going on. Really normal, especially by Necromunda standards. But normal presented in an interesting way, which I argue is sometimes kind of difficult to do. Yeah, alright, the Nara is good. The Cadaver Merchant looks absolutely terrifying. I have some idea as to what the Cadaver Merchant is using the cadavers for. I'm going to assume rendering them down into protein so that they can continue to grow their gigantic arms that are the same size as the other model in this picture. Anyone carrying a body whilst they're also wearing some sort of rebreather is just menacing no matter how you put it. The big leather apron, well, I mean, it's a big leather apron to cover the big guy that the leather apron is on. It looks very utilitarian, a little bit damaged, but only in a couple of places. I also want to know what he's writing down. Is it just the name of the latest person that he's carrying away? Maybe. Is he trying to remember how many limbs he's cut off in the last, like, 24 hours? It could also be that. The big canisters on the back look fantastic. So does the axe. I mean, the axe looks horrible in a good way. Yeah, that is a good Necromunda miniature right there. That is a good Necromunda miniature. Not like massively over the top, not excessively weird or creepy, but just generally a bit unsettling, kind of terrifying, and very threatening. Which, I mean, for Necromunda, what more do you want? Well, I mean, I suppose sometimes you want multi-limbed freak horrors, but for just a guy carrying a body, they didn't need to make him this scary, alright? But they did. I also refuse to believe that every single body that this person picks up is a cadaver, like, before they get to him. You know? I think there is a 0% chance that everyone they pick up is already dead. Because you're not telling me that someone looking like that doesn't hear a bit of movement, see maybe the eyelids flutter, and then just uses either end of that axe thing to stop the movement as quickly as possible. You're not telling me that they don't occasionally finish them off, because you know that they do, right? You know that they do. Once again, I feel like Necromunda is just right up there. When it comes to the miniatures, they just know how to make a good mini when it comes to the team on Necromunda. They look fantastic, they always have a good theme to them, and even if they're just a normal person, they end up being pretty cool for a normal person in that setting full of weird freaks and monstrosities. It's good. It's good and it stays good, which is the key. I don't remember the last time we've had a Necromunda mini that has just been like, oh, that's just kind of rubbish. I can't remember if that's happened recently, or at all. There's got to be at least one, right? There's got to be one that we've looked at and gone, mostly it's just good. They've got consistency. That's the thing. They've got consistency. Let me know what you think of those two in the comments down below. If you can remember a Necromunda mini where overall we've been like, that's not great, then also let me know, because I can't think of one off the top of my head. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for the next one.